Hello there, Stampers. Another video tutorial coming your way. These cards, these next two videos, I'm going to do this one and then the next one are going to be the Stamp Club projects for November. So we had a Christmas theme for our cards, but we didn't focus on a stamping technique. We focused on card fold techniques. So here is the first card that we're going to do. Screen card. So it'll stand up on its own. Nice when you can get a card that you can display on a mantle, especially at Christmas time. Now for Stamp Club, we focused on the Visions of Santa stamp set. It was quick, it was easy, a little bit of coloring, but the main part that I wanted to show them were the two card folds, so this video and the next video. And we just kept everything else pretty straightforward and simple. And I love this set. It makes me giggle every time I see it. But what I'm going to show you how to do is the actual screen card fold. So let's get started with that. I'm going to need a piece of cardstock, any color you like. I'm using Old Olive. I used Old Olive, Cherry Cobbler, some Soft Suede, and then some different colors for the coloring just to make the images work. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, so we're going to need the 11 for the length. But unfortunately, you can't get two cards out of a piece for this particular size because we're going to cut this at 5.5. So it's 5.5 across and 11 long. And the first thing we're going to need to do, I'm going to bring over the Simply Scored. You can see the top of that. We're going to score along the long side, and I've got this set up at 2 3/4, 5.5, and 8 1/4. So 2 3/4, 5.5, and 8 1/4. You should have 4 equal pieces, a score down the middle, and then a score down the two sides here. So 4 equal spots. Let's get that out of the way. And then what you're going to do is first score line right in the middle, you're going to fold this card in half. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take these two sides and you're going to fold them back on themselves. There we go. And then you have your screen fold. But we're not done yet. We're going to do some stamping and some punching. So we're going to open this guy up. And I used my Hardwood stamp. Love this stamp. I love the way there are people that are doing video tutorials, or you see pictures online where they're stamping this and then cutting it apart and actually making different things with the Hardwood stamp. Love it, love it, love it. And I just brushed some ink on there. I'm not really worried about getting a full crisp image out of it. I just want something to give it, oh sorry, I bumped the camera, something to give it a little bit of texture in the background. There we go. We're going to be covering a little bit of this up anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And then I just want to see up at the top there. There we go. Okay. Done with the stamping. The next thing we're going to do is the border punch up along the top, and we're going to use the confetti punch. You could use any of the punches you like, the scallop, the hearts, whichever tickles your fancy. But I liked the stars to go with this one. I always go in the middle. It's just a habit now. You don't have to start in the middle. But wherever you punch, you want to come all the way out, and then you want to tuck these stars back in. So you're going to line this up. There's a pattern along here, and your stars will follow that pattern. Once you've been able to line up, then you can punch again. And the same thing, so you'll get that continuous pattern of stars. Same with every Stampin' Up! Punch. And I love that about their punches. Takes the guesswork out of the stamping. Oh, let's go in again. There we go. There. And I've got my little bag of confetti. Saving up all the bits. My stampers had a good chuckle over that at club. Never know when you're going to need some confetti. So there we have it. We have the image stamped on the background. We have the fold done. We have the punch along the top, and now we're going to put the feet in our screen, because those screens that you use in your rooms tend to have very decorative feet on them. So we're going to see if we can punch some. We're using the Modern Label punch, one of my favorites, and we're going to go section by section across. Our punches aren't meant to take more than one layer of cardstock, and I'm using the old olive, so I would do 4 punches across, and that's what I'm going to show you. If you're doing Whisper White or Very Vanilla, you might be able to get away with folding 2 and punching them because it's a thinner cardstock, but the punches are only meant to do 1 layer at a time, so be very careful if you're going to try that. So I'm going to come down about 1/3, if you can see that, just below that bubble right there. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm equal side to side, that this is centered in my punch. So down 1/3, make sure it's straight, and then in the middle. There we go. Down 1/3, in the middle. This is probably the trickiest part, I would think. You can do a couple practices if you want. Make sure the first one you're doing isn't your one to send out. Maybe practice a little with the punching. I'll fold this up when I'm done to show you how exact I got. There we go. Let's get those out of the way. And now you've got your little feet across the bottom. How cool is that? And if I fold that up, let's see how... Oh, look at that. Not too shabby. I'll show you one of the other ones. Pretty much right on. And there's my original. That one was really close. So there you have it. So there is the screen card fold, a technique. And then what I'm going to do, I chose to put some layers on there. So we're going to need 4 pieces of cherry cobblers, the color that I used, and then 4 pieces of white. So the cardstock layer, the colored cardstock, is 2 3/8 by 4 1/4. And you're going to need 4 of those. And then the Whisper White that I chose to put on top is 2 1/8 by 4. So that's going to layer right on there. So the first thing I'm going to do is get that cherry cobbler on there. I'm going to center the first one. And then after you've got the first one on, remember not just to center this here, but to center it with this guy. Unless you want some up and some down, you might be going for that look, and that is totally okay. But if you're not, you don't want to get them all on and then realize that some are different heights. So make sure you're centering side to side, up and down, and then lining it up with your other panel. There we go. And then after this, it's just the stamping. Easy peasy. Stamp that, snail it on, and away you go. How cool is that? So let's go back to some of these samples here. That one was just the base. Here's one that I stamped. So I got my Santas on different levels, and then the May Visions of Santa's Dance in Your Head. Quick color with your Stampin' Write markers, or your blendabilities if you've got those colors. The old olive and the real red blendabilities. Here's one that's all colored that I did at Stamp Club with the ladies. So I added some of the little snowflakes, which is in this stamp set. I'll get the case so I can show you everything that's in there. There are the little snowflakes from the stamp set. There's even candy canes, little Christmas lights, a little bit of mistletoe. So I put the snowflakes on there, and then the Naughty Nice and Fabulous. I just love that one. I think that one is just too cute. I'll show you this guy too. I've got the Naughty Nice and Fabulous on there. And then 'Tis the Season to Be Fancy. So that gives you a couple of ideas for stamping if you're going to use the Visions of Santa. If not, take any stamp set in your stash, turn this into any occasion card. It doesn't have to be Christmas, and make a beautiful, beautiful creation that someone can actually put out and display when they get it, because it stands on its own. So I hope you like the tutorial for the screen card. I hope you have fun playing around and making your own, and enjoy the video. Yeah, happy stamping!